What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, where today I'm going to be going over all the Nickelodeon shows ever. I'm going to be ranking them from my favorite to my least favorite. So we've got tons. Look at them all. Some of these I've never heard of. I think this goes back to like the very beginning of Nickelodeon. I'm not 100% positive, but there's definitely some old ones in here that I've never heard of, and there's also some new ones in here that I've never heard of. Which is awesome because there's just like the categories of S through E, there is no F. There is a didn't watch as well as a never even heard of it section, which is fantastic, and I love that. So, let's get right into this. All right, up first, I don't even know what the heck this is, never even heard of it. I see Eddie McDowd. I never even heard of it. The 100 Things to Do Before High School, never watched it. I could tell you it's probably about 100 things to do before high school, but I honestly have no idea what it's about, like what the characters are or whatever. Action League Now, again, never heard of it. That sounds like an old one. So that's 3 right off the bat. I have no clue either what they are or I've never watched it. All Grown Up. All Grown Up is B tier. All Grown Up is one of those shows that I feel like didn't get the push that it deserved. It's like that spin-off of Rugrats when they're in, middle school? And it's actually really entertaining and good, and I really enjoy it. But they only ever played it at like 6 in the morning. And so I'd be that weird kid that would wake up and like watch like the Nick News or like watch the last 5 minutes of the Nickelodeon news and then watch All Grown Up. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, who does anyone remember the Nickelodeon news? Because that shit sucked. Like, that was the worst show in the history of shows, in my opinion. I couldn't stand the Nickelodeon news. Anyways, all that is up next. All that's gotta go in S tier. I am definitely too young to remember all that in its heyday, but I've seen all that, and I know what it's done for the Nickelodeon channel. Without all that, we would never have The Amanda Show, we would never have Keenan and Kel, which in return also means we'd never have Good Burger, we would never have Drake and Josh, we would never have iCarly, and it's like, all of that coming from one show. Okay, thank you very much, I'll gladly take it, right? I mean, all that is the pinnacle of Nickelodeon. The Amanda Show, another one I could watch all day. S tier, in my opinion, 100%. House of Anubis, I never watched it. This was a show that was on when I was in middle school. I think it ended right around the time I was going to high school, and I just never got into it. I'm sure it's good. It never piqued my interest. As Told by Ginger, this is an A tier cartoon. I mean, it really is. If you've never heard of As Told by Ginger, please do yourself a favor and get Paramount Plus just so that you can watch As Told by Ginger. It is a fantastic show. It really is. My older sister used to watch it, and in return, I was forced to watch it. And it's weird because I feel like I'm one of the only people my age that remembers it. It is a great, great, great show. And I have both DVDs that were made. There's only like 2 DVDs for As Told by Ginger that were ever made, and there's like a total of like 4 episodes or 5 episodes or something ever put on disc, which is insane to me. But all seasons are streaming on Paramount Plus. I've watched them all since I got Paramount Plus a year ago. Worth it. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Funny story. I have not watched Avatar in probably over a decade, and I just started watching it again. Avatar is actually good as shit, dude. Avatar is incredible. S tier. I just watched the first 8 episodes of Avatar yesterday, and it's literally like I couldn't get enough of it. I wanted to keep watching, but I had other things I had to do. What is this? I don't even know what that says. Is that Awesomeness TV? I never watched that. Oh gosh, Awesomeness TV. Back at the Barnyard. That is an interesting one. I'm going to put that at C tier. Back at the Barnyard was good, but it wasn't something I craved. It's just, if it was on, it was on. It's not something I wanted to watch. Some people loved it, but it just wasn't anything special in my opinion. Bella and the Bulldogs. I've never seen Bella and the Bulldogs. I've been told it's interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I've heard of it, just because, younger nieces and nephews and cousins, and I just never, ever actually saw an episode. Brain Surge, never seen it. I've heard of it. Breadwinners, another one. I've never seen it. I don't know. The Brothers Garcia, I've never heard of this one. That's got to be an older one. Big Time Rush. Big Time Rush. For me, Big Time Rush is probably B tier. Big Time Rush is a great show. By all means, anything like B tier or above on this list is gonna be good. It's just I don't want to put too many in S or A, and I already have 3 in S tier. Big Time Rush, it was great when it was on, but in retrospect, with all of the Nickelodeon live action shows that have ever existed, is it that great? I don't think so. Now, there's going to be the Big Time Rush fans upset, but Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures. This is C tier for me. Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures was one of the last shows on Nick that I think decently enjoyed. It was nothing special, and I don't know really a whole lot about it. I remember catching maybe 9-10 episodes ever, but it's something that I do remember. It was an interesting story, but it's just not memorable enough to the point where, oh yeah, put it in B. But it was one of the last Nickelodeon shows that I actually watched and enjoyed. Bunsen is a Beast. Never heard of that one. I don't even know what that says. Cat Dog. Cat Dog is mid. I don't love Cat Dog. Cat Dog is C tier. I have the complete series on DVD. I've watched it all. It's just not that great. In comparison with other Nickelodeon animated shows, it really isn't anything special. It's really not. So yeah. Cat Scratch, again, this show is mid. It's something that could have been incredible, actually. But they just misused it. Nickelodeon said, screw Cat Scratch, and it never got to be as big as it should have been, in my opinion. So, I don't know. It's sitting in C tier. Oh, God. Another one, Chalk Zone. This one's actually get the hell up there in A tier. Chalk Zone is A tier, in my opinion. This show is another one, just like All Grown Up. They never gave it a chance. It would air at 6:30 in the morning, and it's when the hell are kids up that early? And I live on the East Coast, so if it's on at 6:30 in the morning here, that's mad friggin' early everywhere else in the United States. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all to me. So it's just I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Who the hell knows? Chalk Zone though, great show. Even now, I can just quote the song, and I love saying the main character's name, which is Rudy Tabooty. The one teacher used to say it, and it would always make me laugh. I don't know why, but the show itself is great. If you've never seen it, find where it's at. I don't know. Is it on Paramount Plus? I'm not positive. It probably is, but it's so good. Danny Phantom, of course. Danny Phantom is S tier. Danny Phantom is one of my childhood favorites. I mean, come on. There's nothing bigger than Danny Phantom when Danny Phantom was on Nickelodeon. It was huge. Massively successful. Dead Time Stories, never even heard of it. Power Rangers Dino Charge, never watched that. Double Dare, never watched it. Drake and Josh, never heard of that. I'm kidding. Drake and Josh is S tier for sure. And see, this is my issue. There's so many S tier worthy shows. Drake and Josh is huge. It's probably. I think it's still one of the most successful, if not the most successful Nickelodeon show in history. I'm pretty sure. Drake and Josh was just, wow, just marvelous. The fact that we never got a complete series release on DVD breaks my fucking heart, because I love Drake and Josh, and as somebody that collects movies and TV shows on physical media, I would love to get my hands on Drake and Josh. They have had certain DVDs released over the years, but like not the complete series set. So yeah, S tier all the way for sure. El Tigre, wow, I haven't seen this in forever, and it's probably because it's a D tier show. El Tigre is something that doesn't really matter, honestly. My Family's Got Guts, never heard of that one. Fanboy and Chum Chum is C tier content. I mean, it's stupid, it's silly, it's dumb, and full of fart jokes and stuff like that, and boogers, and it was 8-year-old boy's fever dream, honestly. It wasn't my thing. I feel like I was a little too old for Fanboy and Chum Chum. Could I still watch it? Absolutely. Absolutely, I could still watch it. But it's just not something I personally would choose. Like, I would honestly choose just about anything else here over Fanboy and Chum Chum except for El Tigre. Like, realistically. Figure It Out. I've never heard of that. Fred the Show, and there we go, folks. Our first E tier. Fred the Show. Listen, Fred should have stayed a YouTube channel, in all honesty. The show, the movies, they were all bad. But hey, shout out to my boy Lucas, the guy that plays Fred. I mean, he made his money. He made his money and he got out. That's what's up. Guts, Nickelodeon's Guts. I've never even heard of that one. Harvey Beaks. I've never heard of that one. The Haunted Hathaways. This was a show I caught a couple of times. I'm going to put it in B tier. The Haunted Hathaways is something that I'd actually want to revisit. I'm definitely not the, specific group of person to watch the show. But I feel like it's decent. Like, I remember watching it and enjoying it, and I think I was like 14, 15, which is already pretty much out of the, the range of, who's supposed to be watching that type of show. I feel like it's usually like 10 to 13-year-olds that watch Nickelodeon, like, teen shows. Even though they're teen shows, it's usually preteens that watch them. But I don't know. Haunted Hathaways was okay. It was all right. I feel like definitely better than a lot of this lower tier stuff. So yeah, we're going to move on to Hey Arnold, which is a B tier show in my opinion. I don't love Hey Arnold. I find it superior to C tier shows that I've put on there. It's just not in my A and it's not in my S categories. So the only place is B. I have the complete series. I have the movie. It's just like, I don't love it. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't know. Legends of the Hidden Temple. I've never watched it. I've heard of it. Never watched it. How to Rock. Never watched it. iCarly. So this is where I'm probably going to get people going, what? iCarly is A-rated. It's not S tier in my opinion. I feel like that's where I have to kind of draw the line is iCarly, because I've seen every episode of Danny Phantom. I've seen every episode of Avatar when I was younger. I've seen every episode of The Amanda Show. I've seen every episode of Drake and Josh. I haven't seen every episode of iCarly. Now, iCarly is a great show. A lot like As Told by Ginger and Chalk Zone. I love iCarly, but I just do not hold it in that S tier position. I feel like Nickelodeon would have lived without having iCarly. Now, it's awesome that it got iCarly. It's just not something I think it needed. Invader Zim. I've never enjoyed Invader Zim. D tier. I don't think it should be as big as it is. People, I feel like, I don't know. I just don't know why people enjoy it. Like, I don't understand the premise of loving it. I don't know. Jimmy Neutron, on the other hand, is A tier. Jimmy Neutron's awesome. If you don't love Jimmy Neutron, I think you're a little odd in the head. Jimmy Neutron was like the fucking big thing for a while. I mean, there was the movie and then there was the show, which then sparked multiple video games, a whole ride at Universal Studios. I mean, Jimmy Neutron was the shit. So A tier for sure. I love Jimmy Neutron. Just for Kicks, never heard of it. Just Jordan, never watched it. I've heard of it though. Kenan and Kel, I'm going to put Kenan and Kel in A tier. Kenan and Kel is kind of like the original Drake and Josh. Like, very much so. Like, honestly, you look at Kenan and Kel and you look at Drake and Josh, you could just intertwine them and, like, you could see all the similarities. It's just one was set in the 2000s, one was set in the 90s. It's literally one, and one's best friends and the other is, brothers that are completely opposite of one another. That's it. That's it. Quite literally, that's it. And that's why I think Drake and Josh is S tier and Kenan and Kel is A tier. Because the things that Kenan and Kel didn't get right, Drake and Josh were perfected. And so Kenan and Kel is still an amazing show, and I absolutely love the intro to Kenan and Kel with Coolio every single time I get excited to watch Kenan and Kel. But it's not S tier. It's really just not. The Legend of Korra, I've never watched it. I've never watched The Legend of Korra. I am rewatching Avatar right now. So when I finish Avatar, I'm going to watch The Legend of Korra for the first time. Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness. This is kind of like C tier. It's something that's existent. It was kind of put onto Nickelodeon when I was already older. It wasn't really in my demographic. And so I only caught maybe 2-3 episodes. But it's alright. It's okay. The Loud House. I have seen The Loud House. And I think The Loud House is B tier. The Loud House is probably one of the more successful cartoons of today. If not one of the most successful cartoons today with Nickelodeon. I mean, it is... I haven't seen enough of it to love it, which is why I put it in B tier. But of the episodes I've seen, I'm actually enjoying it. I think it's a very interesting show. It's got a really, really great set of characters, a really diverse set of characters. And I think that that's actually really interesting. And it oddly enough makes the show better that there's so many characters. So I really do like it. The Loud House is definitely something that, if it arises that I'm not watching anything in particular, I might throw The Loud House on and watch it. So yeah, Make It Pop. Never heard of Make It Pop. Marvin, E tier. It is Fred the Show 2.0. That's literally what it is. So the same dude that plays Fred goes into Marvin, and he plays a friggin' alien. And he's just this annoying alien. It's so bad. Move on. Max and Shred, never heard of it. Power Rangers Megaforce, never watched it. The Mighty Bee. This is C tier. I remember when The Mighty Bee came out, and I was watching it, and I was like, this is a weird show. But after a while, I got into it. But I would still say C tier. It's still not anything impressive. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, unless there's a genuine point to doing so. So, yeah. Mr. Meaty. This is... I'm going to put it in D tier simply because I refuse to put anything with Fred and Marvin. Mr. Meaty is such a freaking nightmare of a show. I mean, if you've never seen Mr. Meaty before, look up photos, look up the clips on YouTube. Oh my God. The show was terrifying, in all honesty. Mr. Meaty was just one of those shows that it would actually give me nightmares at night. I'm not kidding. As a little kid, it would give me nightmares. So, fuck you, Mr. Meaty. D tier. Alright, Monsters vs. Aliens. Didn't even know they had a show. Never watched it. I mean, I've heard of Monsters vs. Aliens, so I'm not putting it in never heard of, but I'd never watched it. The Naked Brothers Band was a show. D tier. I have the movie for the Naked Brothers Band, and I have a DVD with like 5 episodes on it. And I've never watched either of them, but I have them and they exist. There's something I have. But yeah, they were kind of big at first for a while. Nat and Alex Wolf. So yeah. Ned's Declassified. I just rewatched Ned's Declassified today. Ned's Declassified, in my opinion, is an S tier show. All right? So I watched Ned's Declassified on DVD. It was the finale episode where they go on the school trip. And rewatching that for the first time in probably 6 or 7 years, I have to say, it was genuinely probably one of the best children's series finales ever. Every character, whether it was a small role or a big role, had their part in the show's finale, and it was so heartwarming. It was absolutely phenomenal. They gave all the kids, whether it was the main trio or, even down to background characters, a role in this episode. All the teachers got a role. Teachers as small as like the lunch lady and the gym teacher all got roles in the finale. It actually, I'm not even gonna lie, part of me got a little emotional because I was like, wow, like you could tell how many people loved working on this show. As stupid as that sounds, like it really was just a phenomenal finale. And for that, I refuse to put Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide any lower than S. The Nick Cannon Show. Never even realized he had his own show, I'm not gonna lie. Nick News. Fuck out of here, Nick News. Go an E tier. Garbage can of a show. Power Rangers Ninja Steel. Never heard of that one. That's gotta be like the newest one, right? Noah Knows Best. I've never heard of that. Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn, never watched it. Fairly Odd Parents, never heard of that. Just kidding. Fairly Odd Parents, I feel, was A tier for a long time, but they kind of killed the show a lot. B tier, Fairly Odd Parents. Now, if we're going to rate the first, 4 seasons of Fairly Odd Parents, A tier. But they really just butchered the show towards the end. B tier is where I'm placing it. I have the first 2 seasons on DVD, and I absolutely love the first 2 seasons. But we're gonna, just because I didn't really love Poof, and then they added even more and even more and even more to the show, to the point where I think the last season Timmy was sharing his fairies with a neighbor, and it's like, that's so just dumb. It's silly, outrageous. The Penguins of Madagascar. Wow. This is a show I haven't seen in a minute. We're going to put it in C tier. Again, it's one of those shows you could take it or leave it. It was definitely really cute and really fun, but it's not like the greatest thing ever. So, Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket. What the fuck is this? Never heard of that. Planet Sheen is E tier. Planet Sheen is the worst spin-off Nickelodeon has ever made. I swear to God, it is the worst ever. I can't stand Planet Sheen, especially because Jimmy Neutron is such a favorite of mine. I thought Planet Sheen was going to be so cool, and then it sucked. Rabbids Invasion, never watched it, never cared to. React to that, never even heard of that. Robot and Monster, I've never heard of that. Robot Wars, never heard of that. Rocket Power is a classic. We're putting it in B tier. Rocket Power is one of those shows that, it was a little before my time, but my older siblings, really, were the reason I enjoyed it. I remember playing the PlayStation 1 game of Rocket Power all the time as a really, really young boy. So that was, honestly, probably most of the nostalgia was the PS1 game. But to this day, I can watch the show and enjoy it, in little bits. It's not like I could watch the whole series in one sitting. I just couldn't. but it is good. It's an interesting show. Romeo is definitely D tier. It's one of those shows that it existed, and if you blinked, you missed it. I think there's only one episode of Romeo on DVD to exist ever, and I have it. It's on like Teen Nick Picks 1 or something, and it's a DVD that I do have. So the fact that only ever had one episode released is insane. Rugrats is fucking S tier. Rugrats is a staple of Nickelodeon. Even if it's not my favorite show ever, just like all that, I can't deny Rugrats is a staple of Nickelodeon. 100%. What is this? Is that Sanjay and Craig? I never watched it. Sam and Cat. I feel like Sam and Cat could have been better, but it just, obviously, things didn't pan out. D tier. Power Rangers Samurai, never heard of that one. Scaredy Camp? Is that what that says? I've never heard of that. SpongeBob. S friggin' tier. I mean, you can't put it any lower than S tier. SpongeBob is Nickelodeon. I mean, you literally since 1999, before I was born, I was born in August. This show came out in, I think, June of 99. Before I was born, SpongeBob was killing the game. And it's still killing the game. It's insane. Super Ninjas. I feel like I have heard of this, but I never ever watched it. I don't know even what that is, so we're going to put it there. Tak and the Power of Juju. Wow. I forgot this existed because it sucked. D tier. Talia in the Kitchen. Never heard of it. My Life as a Teenage Robot. This is B tier. My Life as a Teenage Robot was another show that got treated like shit by Nickelodeon. I feel like there's so many, like Cat Scratch, Teenage Robot, Chalk Zone. They all got treated like garbage, and for no reason, because they were good. It's weird. But no, Teenage Robot is definitely B tier in my opinion. Always loved that show. The Troop. I feel like The Troop is D tier. I never loved The Troop. The X's, I'll be honest, never watched the X's back in the day. The Thundermans, never watched it. This is what, the newer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I've never watched it. True Jackson VP is definitely C tier. It's good. It's just not something I'd ever watch. It would come on. I will give it this. The theme song for True Jackson VP is a banger. I remember singing to the song as it came on, and then I changed to Cartoon Network once the show started. But maybe now that I'm older, I might enjoy it more. Who the heck knows? But True Jackson VP was kind of just existent. Sorry. Tough Puppy. I somewhat enjoyed Tough Puppy, actually. We're going to put it in B tier. I watched a lot of Tough Puppy for like a year, and I don't know why, but I just loved it. I really did. I watched so much of it. I think I watched the whole series. Great show. Great show. Unfabulous is such an underrated show. We're putting it in A tier. This is a show that I grew up with that nobody remembers, and I swear to God, for the longest time, I thought I was insane. Unfabulous, first off, the theme song was Chef's Kiss. Wonderful. Then the main actress was Emma Roberts, who is absolutely drop dead gorgeous, always was. As a little kid, I would watch Unfabulous and I was like, wow. Like, you know? And then she was in stuff like Hotel for Dogs. She was in Aquamarine. And so I loved Emma Roberts growing up. She was just everywhere. And she's still awesome as an adult. She was in, Scream Queens, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, she's a great show. Great show. Victorious. I feel like Victorious is definitely deserving of A tier. I'll give it A tier for sure. Granted, it was played like 4 hours every day for like 3 years, which is kind of the SpongeBob treatment, but I guess we'll give it to them. See, the problem with a lot of Nickelodeon is they'll find one or two shows and then just play it all day. Like they've done that with SpongeBob, they've done it with Victorious, they've done it with iCarly. So they do that because they want to shove it down your throat. They want you to enjoy it. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like they needed to give a lot of their other work more time on air. And that's why we have so many interesting shows that just never got as famous. Like, I'm sure if True Jackson VP played 4 hours a day, more people would love it. Welcome to the Wayne. Never heard of that. Webheads, never heard of that. Every Which Way, never heard of that. Wits Academy, never heard of it. And You Gotta See This, never heard of it. So we got two left, two that I really enjoy. The Wild Thornberrys, we're going to put Wild Thornberrys in A tier. I love the Wild Thornberrys. I have a poster on my wall in this room. I don't know if it'll actually be on the camera or not. Let me see. It's not. It's not. So hold up. I got you. Boom, right by the fan in the very back there. All right. I needed to prove that I wasn't a liar. But yeah. So Wild Thornberrys, I have the complete series. I have the Wild Thornberrys movie. I have the Rugrats Go Wild movie where the Wild Thornberrys and the Rugrats meet up. I loved the Wild Thornberrys. So yeah, A tier for sure. Zoe 101 is another show I loved when I was younger. I'm going to put it in A tier. So that is all of Nickelodeon shows ranked from S to E, and then we've got the didn't watch and never heard of. Guys, if there's any shows in the didn't watch or never heard of section that are actually good, let me know. I might actually check them out. And if you disagree with anything from S to E, I mean, put it in the comments section. I'll gladly die on this hill and or recheck the show out. Because, like, if you told me you think Fred deserves S tier, I'm just going to tell you you're dumb. But if you tell me, like, hey, dude, check out Tack and the Power of Juju again. I think you're remembering things a little wrong. I actually might hold you up to that and watch an episode or two because I haven't seen it in probably a decade or more. So yeah, that is everything though, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more just like this, go ahead and leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel. That way you always see the videos in your little subscriptions area on the YouTube. And, just like I said, if there's anything specific you want to talk about, let me know. Video you want me to make or check out in general, comment down below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.